intro music. Yeah! Woohoo!
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Voyager Part 1. I know many of you might be excited, as Voyager is the favorite series for a few people, including our community manager, Eco. So we're going to go over the various things that are launching in this arc. Now, we will have a couple of videos covering different things, because we've got a new building available for almost everybody, new Armadas available for level 26 up. So let's go ahead and get into the skinny and talk about it and give some early thoughts and give a little bit of peek behind the curtain because, well, per normal, they don't say everything in the patch notes. You got to come to content creators to make sure you know what you need to know. And that's why you love us. And that's why you comment that you love us right there down below. All right, so Voyager Part 1, we're going to skip all the flavor text, but we're excited that Voyager Part 1 is bringing a variety of new features. New space, the Delta Quadrant. I'll show you that here in a second before you get too excited. Sadly, no, there's not like an actual new map. It's just an extension of the old map. Now, that doesn't necessarily make it a bad thing, but as you can see here with the power of transitioning, well, there you go. It starts above Federation space right here at the very top. It does look really neat, and good news for you low-level players, there's early warp range. You see these level 25 systems, for example. Early warp range for you to go in and access, and you're going to have a lot of players able to get here without having to worry about anything absolutely nutso crazy. So just something to keep in mind. And here is one of the new Armadas that we'll be talking about in just a second. But let's get back to this page first before we get too wild and crazy. Artifact Gallery. This update brings a new building. The Artifact Gallery provides a new type of buff for progression via artifacts. Let's just be real. Artifacts are research. That's all they are. They are another form of research. Now, whether that's good or bad, it's kind of up to you. Personally, I told them this, during the pre-art meeting that we keep copy and pasting and doing the same thing over and over. It's not necessarily very exciting, but all that aside, power creep aside, constantly doing just more research aside, it really is cool in terms of what you're going to be able to unlock, what you're going to be able to do, artifacts you're going to collect. I think that's neat. I'm going to see it kind of like a museum, and that's how I'm going to treat it. Artifacts unlock and upgrades are dependent on the artifact gallery building level. So players want to get them both working. So you want to unlock artifacts, but you also want to make sure you're upgrading this building to improve the capabilities of said artifacts. Now there is a loop here. That picture's a little small, so what I'm going to do instead is actually put it big on here. This is your loop for going through artifacts and unlocking them and taking advantage of them and all the other things that you would do to artifacts. So as you can see, the loop goes from the very top. We're going to use formation Armada directives, which is what the species 8472 bio ship Armadas are called. And then it's going to become this one right here. Shards can be obtained from cargo loot, formation Armada credits, and using gacha tokens. Then at the bottom, upgrade your artifacts to unlock powerful effects. And then over there at the right side, upgrade the gallery to house even more. So pretty standard loop, like nothing crazy there, but there are, as you can imagine, lots of new currencies, lots of things involved in this process. So let's keep it moving here. Picard's, here's some examples of artifacts, but not all of them. Picard's Ammonite Fossil increases protected cargo, plus players will get this one for free if they complete their missions. So if you want a free artifact, do this month's missions. The Orb of Prosperity, Mud's Andorian Helmet, McCoy's Hypospray, Chapel's Hypospray, Katinga Scale Replica with Katinga misspelled. That's great. Increases G4 material cost efficiency for all ship components. That's going to be one that I think a lot of people are going to want. Batleth of House Martok increases damage against players for all ships. Kirk's Phaser Rifle, etc. Now, let's talk about these Formation Armadas. A new type of Armada challenge is here. Yay! It's here. And basically, it's for level 26 and higher, and it is all about Species 8472. Now, how it is going to work, and I'll show you it in game so you can get a visual of how it's going to work. You saw me briefly kind of look at it. But you have to defeat all 3 nodes to then get a super chest, a mega chest, a big, massive chest. Whoopie-doo. Now, it's designed where 3 different units start, each one the timers will then coincide with each other. So like if I start 1 minute in and then I start the other two, then the other two will then synchronize their timers to maximize the or to hopefully everybody wins. So how's that actually look in game? Glad you asked. Let's rotate it on over. So the goal is, if you're going to take down a formation armada, you have to defeat all 3 of them if you want to get the good loot, the defeat all nodes for this big rewards chest. Now you will still get a regular mega chest if you have launched here, but the goal is you defeat all 3, which blows up the main armada, and then it has to respawn and you get all your rewards. Now here's a tricky trick. If you only defeat one piece of it, like this piece right here, you can do that. It'll blow up, but then you can't do the rest. They have to all be defeated at the same time. We will go over tactics, we'll go over rewards, we'll go over strategies and crews to use in a separate video. But short answer is, the goal is you want to attack these all at the same time. Now you don't have to do it by yourself. You could have, for example, I'm in the Alliance IA. We could have somebody launch at each point and we do it by ourselves, or technically 3 alliances could do it if they wanted to. We could have IA, Epic, and Feds down here. I'm not saying that's going to happen. I'm just saying that's a possibility. So it does open the door for alliances to help each other. So it also opens the door for maybe if you're one of those lower level or mid-level servers where maybe the massive alliances, like the large, high level alliances, will do 2 of them and then leave that 3rd one open for maybe a slightly weaker alliance. But keep in mind, you've got to defeat all 3. You can't just like load up this one with envoys and then this one with Northcuts and then expect to get the big loot. You've got to win all the way across the board. And you have 4 people participating in these armadas at each node. So interesting stuff. And yeah, it's an interesting way to go about armadas. Definitely more group focused. Let's read this. If an alliance or multiple alliance wants to destroy all 3 nodes, they'll need 3 commanders to start on each. If a commander begins the attack on one node, the rest of the fleet arrives a few minutes later to begin their attack. The attack timers will automatically sync to the first attack. So if you launch one, the other 2 will synchronize to that one's timer. And by defeating all 3 and destroying the core, you'll not only receive the rewards for defeating the armada, you'll also receive artifact shards, which can be used to upgrade and acquire new artifacts. So we talked about the Delta Quadrant. You see it in the background when we're looking at this video. I'm real curious to see what everybody else is going to think about it. But what I'm going to do real quick is I'm actually going to show you the warp range requirements for this new area, which is one of the things I like about it. It's something that's available to basically everybody. Look at this level 25. I can get there with my Fortunate. Like, it has very low warp range. We're talking about it being a very, and keep in mind that my Fortunate has got warp 26 on it. I think the warp range for this is warp 25. Let me see if I've got a slightly lower warp range. This is the problem with research. Let's see, warp range 26. But it's designed to where any player in the 20s with a decent ship, is going to be able to access these systems even at the very beginning. You'll notice there is an Armada set here at the very beginning. New players are always saying, hey, what about us? You're forgetting about us. We need content too. Well, good news for all of y'all. You will be able to access this early on with the warp range not being a factor, at least not in a negative way. So, born to the Alpha Quadrant, here commanders are in forces of the Alpha, be delve into deep space and into the Delta Quadrant, and you've got your missions here. New species 8472 targets, lost hostiles, but have grabbed the caretaker, been grabbed by the caretaker, or in these systems. That will be part of a grind that you have to do. Yay, who doesn't love grinding? And then let's move on to the new officers, which DJ is extremely excited about this one. I think this is a good officer. I don't think that just because DJ made the comment that it's like Hugh level, I don't think that he's Hugh level, but he is very, very good. The negative here is there is no sourcing, permanent sourcing available for these that we have seen yet. Hopefully that will come in the future. But the EMH, below deck ability and an officer ability. He is not fit to lead, even though he literally led Voyager in an episode as the sole person on the ship. But he's unfit to lead, ladies and gentlemen, so don't you dare let him do it. Anyways, officer ability is great bridge crew officer for engaging marauder ships, can also be used against armadas. Increases armor, shield deflection, and dodge by the below listed percents of health for 2 rounds when you take hull damage. And then the below deck ability increases all loot by 15, 20, 30, 35, or 50%. That's a pretty decent amount, right? That's good. Now, is it amazing? It's good. It's good. More is better. It's going to help for armadas, hostile grinding. And if it works how we expect it to work, which is like 5 of 11, let's rotate real quick. 5 of 11's ability also works for rep. So the idea is you have a below deck bonus to rep officer here with EMH. We'll see if that's indeed how it works when we get our hands on it. But generally speaking, this is a very nice officer for below decks. I think a lot of people like. You also got Belana Torres, who is an officer with a below deck ability. This one makes more sense. This is increasing armor piercing. You see 250, 400, 6, 9, and 15. So again, solid addition. Nothing amazing, but solid. And then because we got an armor piercing officer already. Her name is Sharvanik. Then we've got down here, Blana's below deck ability is a great way to providing hull breach against non-player hostiles. So you notice a lot of times Rev will be one of those guys like, hey, you've got to bring Lorca or Gorkon to an armada to really help improve your damage creation. Well, she's going to help you do that as a below deck officer. So once she's tiered up, that beginning 10% isn't really worth it, but starting at, to me, around tier 4 to tier 5, maybe tier 3, maybe, because it's an each round proc, this becomes super valuable. It only lasts 1 round, but still could be super valuable. Then here are your missions. New primes, yay! We got 3 new primes, 1 for weapons damage, 1 fighting against interceptors. Yep, that's gonna be complained about a little bit. Increase the cost efficiency of export credits and research. I actually love that, but I probably won't buy it. And then the Defiant right here, base cost efficiency for the Defiance ability. We've also got a new projectile, new buffs, new frames, and a pretty long list of bug fixes. So there's the skinny, everybody. I'm curious to know what y'all all think. Of course, drop that in the comment section down below. Let me know, and I appreciate you. Live long and prosper. Stay safe for the Space Cowboys. Deuces, that's me. Catch you this month playing Voyager. And don't forget, we've got a live stream where we're giving away battle passes, 12 p.m. Central Standard Time on Twitch. Look for Rev Deuce over there. Catch you. Bye.
An even better outro than the intro. For the Empire and glory to your house.